When you on a block and you trapping, you feel me, and those crackheads be coming up, you trying to get you to front them some crack. Why would I front you some crack knowing that you have nothing to offer at this moment and you fiending for it? What are the chances that you're gonna pay me back? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Campbell, and we are back with another video. Y'all know I gotta thank y'all each and every video, man. I really appreciate the love y'all continue to show to my channel as well as my other videos. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button as well as turn on that notification bell. That way you're notified every time I release a video. And if this isn't your first time to the channel, welcome back. Please leave a like down there, and if you're feeling a little generous, you know what I'm saying, drop a comment. Y'all gotta remember that showing love costs $0.00. It don't cost nothing, you feel me? So it take 2 seconds out of your day to leave a like and to leave a comment. Today we're gonna be talking about credit. We're gonna talk about how you can finesse an 800 plus credit score. People always talking about an 850 credit score and an 820 and all those things, and they're beautiful. I mean, it's cool to have, but you gotta realize that anything over an 800 is considered perfect. So you don't need to have an 850. If you literally have an 801, you have a perfect credit score. If you literally have an 800, you have a perfect credit score. Now, to my young people watching this video, y'all might not think credit is important, but it's extremely important. Yes, cash ultimately rules the world. You know, Cream, what they say, cash rules everything around me. So cash is extremely important, and having high income is important. But on this channel, man, we're not only gonna talk about cash, because one thing you don't talk about enough in the trenches, especially in the hood, we don't talk enough about credit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people I know in the trenches, you got bad credit before you even 18, because you got people in your family putting bills and stuff under your name and not being responsible. When the minute you turn 18, you're already at a major disadvantage because you already have a flawed credit score. Credit score can help you do things such as buy a home, purchase vehicles, get furniture, get electronics, get jewelry. You can literally do almost anything with credit. And having the higher your credit, the more people trust you. When people trust you more, they're willing to give you things for free or with very, very little cost up front. For example, if you got great credit and you want to buy a car, just say you want to buy a $100,000 car. A person with bad credit probably going to have to put down close to half. So they're going to have to put down close to 50K if they've got pretty bad credit. But if you got good credit, you might be putting down less than 10K down for that car. And that's being nice. There's people who have $100,000 vehicles who put down literally nothing. So the higher your credit, the more beneficial it's going to be to you moving forward. So first things first, a number one determining factor in determining your credit score is your on-time payment history. This accounts for up to 35% of your credit score. Missing just one payment can ultimately set you back and make your credit score lower. Look, this is how it works. They look at all of your on-time payments, and then they divide that by the total number of payments and they use that to calculate the percentage of how much you paid on time. One missed payment, I ain't gonna say it can completely destroy your credit, but it can hurt your score. For example, let's say you have 60 total payments and 59 of them are on time. That's 59 out of 60. It seems pretty good, right? Which it is still good. But when you calculate it, that gives you a 98.3% of on-time payments, which shows them that they're gonna put you in that very good category, but not gonna put you in that excellent category. And it's like, that one payment really set me back and it really hurt me. Secondly, we're going to talk about credit utilization. Now, credit utilization pretty much comes down to how much credit you're using per month. So when you start to apply for credit and you start to be approved for credit, you're going to have like a big picture of credit. When you have that big picture of credit, it's going to be a certain number. Out of that total number of credit, they're then going to determine how much of that credit you're actually using. The lower amount of credit that you actually utilize and actually use, the better. What y'all have to understand is when it comes to credit, a lot of this don't make sense, bro. Like, a lot of this it's so backwards, and the logic of it is kind of weird. But again, when it comes to credit bureaus, lenders, and stuff like that, they go by a system, and this is a system they've been using for years. Credit utilization makes up 30% of your score. In order to have a perfect score, lenders pretty much want to make sure that you're not maxing out the credit that you've been allotted. Even though this makes no sense, y'all got to remember that they don't want to give money to people who need it. They just don't. They want to give money to the people who they feel like don't need it, because those are the people who are more likely to use less of it and then still pay it back. It's like this in the hood, man. Selling, when you on a block and you trapping, you feel me, and those crackheads be coming up, you trying to get you to front them some crack. Why would I front you some crack knowing that you have nothing to offer at this moment and you fiending for it? What are the chances that you're gonna pay me back? Compared to somebody who's got their together, but hey, they want to get high on some crack. I give you the crack, I know you're gonna pay me. Like I said, you give it to a crackhead who fiending to get high, they are not gonna pay you back, bro. I'm sorry, they just not, man. And it's a terrible analogy to use, I'm sorry, man, but it's like the easiest way I can make it make sense, bro. You pretty much want to show them that you don't need all the money they're giving you, because you are so responsible and you're so good with the money, and it makes them want to give you more. They say, you know what, this person just not using the credit. let's give them more. It makes no sense. Like, but you also be here all day scratching your head trying to understand why these lenders and why the credit bureaus work and think the way that they do. You want to stay under 10% of your total credit utilization, but realistically, anything 30% or under is still going to show up as good with the credit companies. For example, let's say you've been allotted $1,000. Let's say you have a credit card and you have $1,000 limit on it. Let's say out of that $1,000 limit, you spend $500 of that, and then when the next month comes around, you pay your credit card bill, but you make the minimum payment. So you spent $500 on this $1,000 balance, you have $500 remaining, right? Okay, cool. That's a 50% credit utilization, which is going to be flagged and it's going to negatively impact your credit score. Yes, you're going to get credit for the on-time payment, which is good. That's a great job. You're like, okay, yes, I got credit for my on-time payment. You've got to realize that you're over 50% of your credit utilization. They don't want to give money to people who need it. They're saying, man, we get this some money. We get this some money and this spending that every month. I'm like, nah, bruh, I can't do it. You feel me? It looks bad. In terms of credit and lending and borrowing, you never want to be viewed as a risky borrower. That same credit card analogy, let's say you had that same $1,000 credit card and you happen to spend $1,000, like you max it out. But before the due date, you pay that whole $1,000 back. You get credit for the on-time payment, as well as your credit utilization is now at 0%. As long as you're making your payments before it's due, it doesn't matter how much your credit card you have to spend. You just want to stay under that 30%. So like I said, even if you're spending $400 or $500 every month on a $1,000 limit, as long as you're paying it off before it's due, you're fine. Or even then, not paying it all off, pay enough that'll keep you under that 30%. But again, that's a slippery slope right there, because at that point, you're still playing catch up. You're eventually gonna have to pay that entire balance off anyways. So for me, it makes the most sense to just pay it all off. So it helps to have a lot of available credit, so that even if you're over 30% on one source, in the overall grand scheme of things, you'll still be under 30% because you have so much credit available. They determine credit utilization upon total credit available. So let's say you got $10,000 of available credit, and you max out that $1,000 credit card, that's only going to show up as 10% of your credit utilization if you don't touch any other credit sources. So yes, that one card is maxed out, you need to pay that back. But at the end of the day, your total credit utilization is still going to show up as 10%. They're not going by each credit card and say, well, he's at 50% of this credit and 15 at this one and 12 at this one. Like, they're not doing like that. This is a total amount of credit that you have available, and this is the percentage of it that you're using. It also helps to periodically ask for increases. I think a good general rule of thumb is to ask for an increase about once every 6 months. You know, some people even, depending on your credit card company and stuff like that, maybe even 3 months. But if you're making on-time payments and your utilization is low, I'd actually increase every 6 months. The higher limits that you have with credit cards, the more credit that you have available. That'll make it easier to stay under that 30%, keep your utilization score low. That way your credit score will continue to go up. Third, the length of your credit history. The longer that you had credit, better. And you know what I'm saying, it's better to start off sooner than later. And that means even if you got to start building your credit on your 18th birthday, then that's just what you got to do, you feel me? This is one of those things that takes time, and it doesn't account for the total, it accounts for the average length. So like I said, let's say for example, I have a credit history, a credit length of 4 years, and I apply for a credit card today, and I get approved. My credit history just got cut in half from 4 years to 2 years now. You feel me? Like, it's not by the total amount of years. So even if you've been building credit since you was 18 and you're now 40, it's not going to count as 22 years of credit history. No, it's not. It's going to count by the average amount of credit history that you have. That's why it helps to keep certain accounts on your credit report, even if you no longer use them. Let's say you got a credit card that you haven't touched in like 5 years. It don't hurt to keep it on there, especially if you're not using it anyway, simply because you're paying for that history. That history is going to continue to boost your score, because the minute you close that account, you remove it, your credit score is going to take a hit. Now, how big or how small that is, it varies, but your credit's definitely going to take a hit. This is another one of the things you just got to have patience. Only 15%, so don't be afraid to open new credit. Don't be afraid to say, oh, I can't open new credit cards, or I don't want to take out this loan or whatever, because I don't want my credit score history average to go down. It's okay, bro. It's only 15%. And at the end of the day, like I told y'all, the more credit, the better. Fourth, total credit lines, which only makes up 10% of your overall score. The more credit you have, just pretty much equals the higher limits will be, which make your overall utilization lower, which in turn makes for a higher overall score. This also means that you'll have more on-time payments, and as we stated earlier, that makes up 35% of your score. That'll be better. A mixture of credit is also so good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to just have one type of credit on your thing. You want to have auto loans, maybe home loans, a mortgage, credit card, different forms of credit, because it shows lenders that you're not a risky borrower, because you can handle and maintain the responsibility of multiple debts and not get overcome and not default on your payments. Fifth is going to be the total hard increase on your credit report, which makes up for about 10% of your score. This kind of helps lenders keep track of how many times you're actually going to ask for credit. Remember what I said earlier, they don't want to give money to people who need it. So they're looking at it like this: the more times you're inquiring or asking for credit, they feel like you're in a bind, you're in a jam. They feel like you're in a jam, you're less likely to pay them back. So they don't want to lend, they don't want to give you a loan, or they don't want to lend to you, simply because they feel like he asking for too much right now. It's desperation, you feel me? The more inquiries that you have overall, they will lower your score. This ain't something I would stress out personally. It does show up on your report for 2 years, but they only impact your score for a year, and after that they fall off as if it's never happened. So if you're in the process of building up your credit, I personally would advise that you take out as much as you can now, so that you can build up on those on-time payments in your history, so that when you need it, you'll be ready and those inquiries will be gone. And lastly, we'll talk a little bit about piggybacking. Piggybacking can come in the form of an authorized or even an unauthorized user on the credit report. Pretty much means piggybacking is when somebody becomes an authorized user on another person's credit for the purpose of boosting their own credit score. This is not to be confused with it being a joint account, because there is a difference between the two. Authorized users are not legally responsible for charges made on that credit card, whereas on the joint account, holders usually are. Nevertheless, authorized users get the full account history reflected on their credit report, and they will get credit characteristics such as payment history, the age of the account, and utilization rate. When these characteristics are positive, they help raise the authorized user's credit score. So if they're not positive, however, the authorized user will risk losing points as well. So that's like you hopping on somebody in your family's credit report for a few months because they have great history and payments and all this other stuff, and they've got a lot of credit history. When you become an authorized user on the credit report, this is going to help you out tremendously. And I feel like a lot of people don't. There actually are websites of people who sell like the credit lines and the trade lines, and they will sell you the trade line so they can add you to their credit report and help boost your score. And it's just something you got to look into, bro. And I'll drop another video on that if y'all really want to know about that. But yeah, like authorized users and like piggybacking on people's credit reports, there are literally websites out there. You can find somebody out there. It could be a completely random person, people with very, very high credit scores, who will allow you to pay them so that you can be on a credit report. And that wraps up today's video, y'all. It was real quick, real easy, straight to the point. I wasn't gonna do too much rambling and mumbling, man. Again, I thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for continuing to show love to my channel, continuing to show love to my videos. If this is your first time on my channel and you've made it this far, bro, you gotta give me that sub. And while you at it, please turn on that notification bell, as well as dropping a like on this video. All my people in the trenches, man, y'all know I love y'all, man. We be going through it together, man. And when you're in the trenches, that don't mean you from the hood or you're on Section 8 housing or any of that stuff, man. It simply means that you done been through some stuff and you understand life. Maybe it's certain things that you weren't exposed to, and it has nothing to do with you being incompetent. It has everything to do with, lack of resources. And that's what I'm here for, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand how it was, and I was blessed to be in a position to be able to get some opportunities that allowed me to get out in the world, and I got to experience some things that helped me have this knowledge that I have here today. To all the silver spoon fed boys, we ain't gonna talk about y'all today, bro. With that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all back at the next video. Again, I love y'all, I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all later.